Hey everybody, this is Mark from Northwest Bourbon. Thank you for joining me. I've got a real life scenario that I'm throwing at you guys for this list. Now today at work, I was talking to one of my coworkers and he had said, "Hey Mark, I know that you've told me before that you're really into bourbon." And I'm like, "Yeah, go on." I'm already excited about this conversation. And this coworker of mine is a bit older than I am. He said, "Mark, I told you that I just recently got divorced. My ex-wife moved out, and I feel like I have my life and my freedom back because I told you I used to be in a band, I used to have an active social life, and my wife never wanted to go out and do these things, and she would make me feel bad about going out and doing stuff with my friends because she wasn't a very social person. So now that she's gone, I really want to get my social life back and start playing gigs with my band, having people over at my house for band practice or just social gatherings, things like that. And so I wanted to get your recommendations for what kind of whiskeys I should have on my bar because some of my friends are whiskey drinkers." And so I'm like, okay, grab a piece of paper. I like where this is going. Started getting that, energetic, happy feeling like I'm a little kid about to tell somebody about my new favorite toy. And so I said, all right, let's start with the basics. What do you already have? And he said, well, I have a spiced rum I really like. I have vodka, I have gin, and I don't have much whiskey. And I was like, well, what whiskey do you have? He said, well, I have some Jack Daniels and I have Jameson. Is that enough? And I was like, no. Just instantly, without hesitation, I was like, no, that's not enough. I kind of took a step back and found some logic in myself and said, you know what, man? If they are your true friends, they're not going to give you a hard time for not having their favorite whiskey on your bar. And you're not going to have everybody's favorite whiskey on your bar unless you spend, a few $1,000s on whiskey. And he said, no, I just want to grab a few bottles, not spend more than like $150. And I was like, perfect. You know what? I bet you I can find you 5 whiskeys to put on your bar for around $150, okay? And he was like, good. I was like, okay. So what you need to get first is Wild Turkey 101. You can find Wild Turkey 101 everywhere. Any bourbon drinker is going to be happy with having a glass of Wild Turkey 101. It's got that great balance of caramels and vanillas and woods and cinnamon and like vanilla frosting with some fruit notes, like some citruses in there. So it gives you just the whole spectrum of what you want. And then I told him, plus, if somebody's looking to make a mixed drink with their whiskey, like an old fashioned, a hot toddy, it doesn't matter. Wild Turkey 101 is going to give you everything you want in a mixed drink as well. Wild Turkey 101 should be your foundation. Start off with that, and it's only going to run you around $21, okay? So let's add that $21 up there and go from there. And then I remembered that he is a retired Navy veteran. I said, hey man, you still have access on base right now, right? Okay, so if you go on base, I was on base last week. I showed him the picture that I shared on Instagram. I was like, on base right now, they have Wild Turkey 101 1.75 liter handles on sale for $29.99. And so I picked up one and had to hold myself back from buying a whole case of it because that is the steal of the century. $29.99 for a 1.75 liter. Amazing value right there. Simply fantastic. So I had to share that with him and say, hey, go get one of those while they're still on sale. And then I told him next on your list is you should have a wheater. I told him bourbon is 51% corn. All right, the secondary grain is usually rye or wheat. And some people prefer the wheat profile over the rye. While the majority prefer the rye, some people prefer the wheat. What I suggested to him is to find the Maker's 46. The Maker's 46 has a great, complex, absolutely delicious flavor profile, good mixture of sweetness and spice, got a little bit of chocolate cherries running around in there. It's very complex, has a lot going on, and it is absolutely outstanding. Now, I saw this in Kentucky for $28. In Seattle, you can find it all the way up to $45 or $46. But on average, you're going to find this for about $32. So add $32 to the tally. All right, then I told him next thing you need on your bar is a rye because some whiskey drinkers like ryes, not especially bourbons. Now I told him you can spend a little bit more money and get a Knob Creek rye or a Sagamore rye, or there's many other ryes out there that you can grab. But to get a lower budget rye that everybody's going to enjoy that comes over to enjoy a rye with you, to save a little bit of money on your overall budget and still get a rye that everybody's going to enjoy if they are a rye drinker, just get an Old Forester rye. Because you can find this for about $22, and for that price point, it's delicious. If someone says they're a rye drinker and they look up and see this bottle is the only rye on your shelf, they're not going to turn around and leave. They're going to go, oh, you've got a pretty good rye. Well, yeah, let me get some of that. So go ahead and add the $22 for the Old Forester rye to the tally. Then I told him that for his number 4, I would suggest one of 2 of my favorite bourbons out there right now. One is a Four Roses single barrel. Four Roses single barrel is going to cost you about $40. It's 100 proof, and they absolutely hit me everywhere I want to be hit when I'm reaching for a bourbon. There's not one night that I'm looking at my bar, can't decide what I want to drink, that if I pour myself a Four Roses single barrel, I'm going to be like, no, I don't feel like that tonight. I can feel like this every night. So you can add that $40 up there. If you can't find Four Roses single barrel at your local store, or if you just want to save an extra $10, get a Cooper's Craft 100. Some of you already know, I just completed a blind sample battle, and the Cooper's Craft 100 punched way above its weight class. It was knocking the teeth off of bottles that were almost twice the price. Cooper's Craft 100 is absolutely delicious, and it is a great value. It's in the low $30s range. So if you want to save about $10 off of the Four Roses single barrel, or you just can't find it in your area, or whatever the case may be, you cannot go wrong with having Cooper's Craft 100. Then I said, okay, there's 4 whiskeys on your bar, and we're still well below the $150 budget point. And so I know you're all going to be shocked and just flabbergasted by my next pick. But I told them, go find yourself something local. Find a few different local craft distilleries, do some tastings, find what you like best, and buy a bottle of it. Now, if you go do some tastings at a local craft distillery, you're going to find that the average price is between $30 and $60. So for this list, we're going to say you found one at $40, okay? So especially if you have people coming in from out of the area, if you share with them one of your local favorites and maybe send them home with a bottle, then that's going to be a memory that you guys now share forever. And so grab something local that you really enjoy and have that on your bar as your number 5. And so, quick recap. We've got Wild Turkey 101 coming in at $21. You add $32 for the Maker's 46. Then you add $22 for the Old Forester Rye. Then you add $40 for the Four Roses single barrel. Then add on another $40 for a local favorite. And you can see that puts us at $155. You save a few dollars here and there depending on if you find something on sale, or if you get the Cooper's Craft instead of the Four Roses, you're saving money and ducking under that $150 budget. Or if you find a local favorite that you really enjoy, so you spend that $60 on that bottle instead, then hey, if it's worth it to you and you can afford it, then you won't regret it. Do it. So there you go. There's a list of 5 whiskeys for around $150 that you can have on your bar that'll give the average drinker a complete feeling whiskey collection. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Leave in the comments below. Can you find 5 bottles that you love for $150? If you were only allowed to have 5 bottles, which bottles would you have on your bar? Are any of these your personal favorites? Leave some comments below. Alright, so I'm going to leave you with a bad bourbon joke. Okay, so there's 2 guys robbing a liquor store. One guy holds up a bottle of Wild Turkey and says, "Is this whiskey?" And the second guy goes, "Yeah, it's whiskey, but not as whiskey as robbing a bank." There's a bad bourbon joke. There's a bad bourbon joke for you. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Keep your drinks wet. Cheers.